somewhere else, but this is where we found ourselves. Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
Welcome to another edition of the Local Show here on GrassRoots Community Network. I am still Erick Skarvan, your host. Thank you for joining us this week. I hope you guys survived the crazy 4th of July festivity. It was a lot of fun here in Aspen. And now we move into the heat of the summer. I've got a great first-time guest of the week joining us on the show, Dr. Dagher. Welcome to the show, Hass.
Thanks for having me, Eric. I really appreciate it.
Great to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Welcome to the set of the Local Show. Just like NBC and Rockefeller Plaza, right? You had to go up all those elevators, through the executive suites, and then spend time in the green room.
Oh, yeah. It was a beautiful green room. They had a great craft services. The spread was amazing. I mean, the wheat thins, they were perfect.
Okay.
No broken ones, all full size.
And they had the right micro beer, and everything was set up for you as we had discussed.
Oh, it's Colorado, of course.
Yeah. It's all top level, all top notch, even here on public access TV.
So happy to be here.
So thanks for being here today, buddy.
My pleasure.
Appreciate that. And we've got so many things to talk about, but I wanted to, we had talked a little bit before the show. Growing up in the Midwest, you are a fellow upper Midwesterner, not just Midwest, but upper Midwest, and grew up in Michigan, similar to my upbringing in Wisconsin. Can you tell people a little bit about growing up in Michigan? And some of those beaches you guys have there are pretty incredible.
Well, I grew up in Kalamazoo, actually in Portage, a suburb of Kalamazoo.
Okay.
And Portage was just a small town, 30,000 people, and we were 40 minutes from Lake Michigan, which means two things. It means you get to go to the lake all the time, and you get the lake effect snow all winter.
Yes.
So we got twice whatever they predicted every single time.
Oh, love that lake effect.
Yep, buried in. Everybody had to have roll-up garages. Nobody could have the flip-ups because your garage would never open in the winter. And you had to have a roll-up garage because you couldn't get out your front door sometimes. So you had to roll up the garage and dig a tunnel out to get out in the winter.
So you'd have that much snow.
Oh, it's lake effect.
With that lake effect. And then does the lake effect also keep you a little cooler in the summer? Because like on the Wisconsin side, you actually stayed just slightly cooler. Be 90 in Milwaukee, it would be maybe low 80s if you were right on the lakeshore.
It
could have that effect?
I was far enough inland that I didn't get much of the cooling.
Okay.
But it was always just gray. It was never much sun. You never saw a sunset.
Right.
It wasn't until I moved to California, that was before I came to Colorado, that I saw my first real sunset. And I was like, wow, this happens every night?
Yeah, about the same time. It changes seasonally a little bit,
In Michigan, it just kind of turns light gray to dark gray to black, and then it's done. Sun's gone. Next morning, dark gray to light gray to, hey, it's kind of a lighter gray all day.
I know, it's just, and people who haven't spent a lot of time there, it just can stay that gray overcast for just days, whereas we get this brilliant sunshine for days, about 300 on average a year in Colorado.
It's beautiful.
So you would move on from Michigan, and how did you end up in Aspen? How did that story end up? Like you went to Michigan State for college.
I played football at Michigan State.
Played football there.
So I was a big athlete in high school. Track and field, wrestling, and football.
Okay.
I did that all the way through, and I ended up going to Lake Forest Academy in Chicago for my senior year of high school on a football scholarship. From there, I managed to get on the Michigan State football team.
Nice.
And I wish I could say we were as good as the team is today, but the team I played for wasn't quite that good.
What position did you play?
I was the long snapper and the defensive end, and mainly I was a long snapper. That's how I got on the team.
Okay.
I can snap a ball between my legs 14 yards on a rope. Right between the numbers.
Straight back. Boom.
Right there.
Right where it needs
every
to go.
time. That's all I had to do. As long as the ball got to the punter every time, I got to keep my job.
Wild. Wild.
And then, so I went to California for about 10 years, and a friend of mine I lived with in California, who actually works at the Pitkin County Library here, Jeff Bradley, JB, as most of you might know him, he was living with me in California, came up here for a wedding, met a girl, talking to her on the phone every day. A few months later, hey, I'm moving to Aspen. I was like, okay, I'll drive you up. Drove him up here. 3 months later, I moved to Aspen.
No kidding.
He's married to her now. They have 2 kids together. They live over in Burlingame. And yeah, he's working at the Pitkin County Library.
So you were being a good friend, giving him a ride. And then you would benefit tenfold from that ride.
Oh, yeah.
By finding the place that you would want to live. And then you lived here for how long before you went to med school?
I was in Aspen for 4 years, 2003 to 2007.
Okay.
And I just went to CU first, not to medical school.
Okay.
And I was at University of Colorado Boulder, did my undergrad there in integrative physiology. Specialized in more human physiology, anatomy, and exercise science type classes. Along with those, I also did some other good courses that were prerequisites for med school. The biochemistry courses, the physics courses, even physics-based calculus. All these complicated courses that just get you ready for the med school experience.
Okay, laying the foundation there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now when you get to med school, the old saying that they tell you right when you get there is it's like trying to take a drink from a fire hydrant. They're just going to shove it at you.
You just start getting hammered with information.
Yes.
Overwhelming, I bet.
So, yeah, you can never be prepared enough.
Right.
And I did everything I could. I was a dissector in the anatomy class at CU, so I was dissecting cadavers, trying to learn every little corner of the body and where every little thing was.
Wow.
I ended up being a TA in anatomy in medical school while I was in the anatomy class because they needed help. And just anatomy is a very difficult course to learn in that short period of time they give you.
Right.
After that, I continued on through med school, and I continue to work in anatomy. I'm an adjunct clinical professor of anatomy at St. John's University in New York. I go back there and I teach musculoskeletal anatomy for a short period of their semester, a couple times a year.
Wow.
And medical school is where I met some good friends. One of my friends, Yemi, he was an alternate on the Canadian Olympic track and field team. So he and I became workout buddies, and we made it packed. As soon as we got to med school, we said med school will not make us fat.
Okay, Wonder Twins unite.
Yes.
We have a pact between us.
Yeah, I believe we got a picture of Yemi and me at med school, and Yemi and I, I'm sorry. He's an amazing athlete. He's 185 pounds soaking wet, and he can stand there and squat 500 pounds in front of you half a dozen times perfectly.
Wow. How great of a training partner is that?
He's good.
And friend.
Oh, yeah. I learned a lot from him. We exchanged a lot of knowledge back and forth about what we were learning in school. We discussed the things that were going on in class, afterwards in the gym, and on the beach doing workouts as well. It was good to find somebody like that. While I was in med school, I actually created, so my med school's name is St. Matthew's University.
Okay.
And I created the St. Matthew's University Revolutionary Fitness Society.
Okay.
The Smurfs.
Okay.
SMU RFS.
I like it. I like
Yes.
it. Might as well have fun with it too.
It was an awesome time, yeah. So I held classes while I was in med school. I taught yoga there. I've been teaching yoga 17 years.
Okay.
Yes, and I've been certified by the American College of Sports Medicine since 1999. I've been a personal trainer for nearly 25 years now.
Wow.
This is what I do.
Wow. Well, buddy, we're going to take a quick break because we want to now talk about all that experience, that crazy skill set that you've put together, and how that can benefit the locals, especially the athletic locals that we have, which is pretty much, I think, everyone.
That's why I came back to Aspen.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about that and so much more, you guys. Stick around because the main body of the show, Haas is going to give you guys some tips. He's going to tell you about different ways you can maximize the mountain lifestyle. But first, I'm going to get a drink during the break. But first, I do want to thank our summer underwriters. We've got Picken County Landfill, Ajax Tavern and Element 47, Dagher Fitness, Sundog Athletics, The Original Leaf. We're going to take a quick break, have about 2 minutes, and then we'll be back with Haas. And again, maximizing being healthy and fit. What does that really mean? And maximizing the mountain lifestyle, so don't go away.
Picken County Landfill's mission is to conserve our environment and extend the life of our landfill through innovative programs. We offer recycling, composting, continuing education, site tours, and gardening workshops. Picken County Landfill, we handle it. More at landfillrules.com.
Ajax Tavern and Element 47 are located at the Little Nell Hotel at the base of Aspen Mountain. This summer, Element 47's Ride and Dine dinner series returns, where guests are treated to a great bike ride and farm dinner featuring fresh local ingredients. Ajax Tavern is featuring their summer music series with live music in Gondola Plaza, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays from 3 to 6, and the Ajax Tavern Barbecue Series. More information at thelittlnell.com.
Dagher Fitness can help you maximize your quality of life and the mountain lifestyle through an evidence-based fitness system featuring fully customized personal training, yoga, and rehabilitation programs that guarantee results. Improve your strength and balance and correct any imbalances among many other benefits. More information at dagherfitness.com.
Celebrating another great summer season, Aspen Square Hotel is the hospitality place, featuring fireplace studio suites and larger condominiums with full hotel-style services in the center of downtown Aspen. All accommodations are air-conditioned. Aspen Square is proud to support the local show.
The original Leaf features cannabis grown locally with love. Leaf, the acronym for Locals Emporium of Alternative Farms, offers one of the largest selections of marijuana and marijuana-infused products in Aspen and is located at 555 East Durant. The original Leaf, hell-bent on excellence.
Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
Thanks for sticking with us here on the Local Show, a show just for you each week, locals. We love our visitors and we love our part-time residents, but we wanted to do something really local, Hassen. This couldn't be a more local type of a show because, you know, with this athletic community, an extremely athletic community, you have people really trying to maximize their health, their fitness, their athletic performance. They're rehabbing from injuries that happen as a part of these processes.
Yes.
And you've had, obviously, experience working with so many clients over the years, now working at an even higher level with your newly gathered skill set over the last several years. But you've done personal training, teaching yoga, now a medical doctor. And we were talking a little bit off camera about a gentleman you had met in his, I guess, late 50s at the time.
He was one of my best clients. He was with me for over 5 years, and he came to me at 58, starting off in the gym. So he's actually a guy that taught me mountain biking. He's an amazing athlete. Took me down the mountains, showed me how to ride, taught me about getting back in the saddle, balancing the pedals, told me all the little tricks, kept me from going over the handlebars.
I love that.
Which is a common story I hear all too often. Heard it again yesterday.
The dreaded endo.
Yeah. You got to get back.
Yeah, it is the worst.
So
the landings are never good.
No. So he took me mountain biking, and he took me out on these tours. He did all these things with me, so I started training him. And he's in the gym. He says he wants to get back to bench pressing. I'm just like, that's great. So what do you want to do? What's your goal? He says, well, I want to bench press 225 again. And I said, well, that's a good goal. You know, have you been trying? He says, yeah. But every time I try to get back to 225, my chest and my shoulders here start to hurt real bad. And then something goes off, and I got to stop bench pressing. And I look at him, I was like, okay, so you have an issue we need to address before we're going to be able to strengthen and get back to bench pressing 225.
Right.
Yeah, so I said, okay, well, let's start from the beginning. When did this first start happening? Oh, about 30 years ago.
Oh, 30 years. This has been going on for decades. He's had some kind of blockage or hurdle to an injury, resulting from an injury.
He had an injury at 28.
Okay.
Yes. No, found out exactly what the injury is.
Okay.
Because there are no mysteries. There is no unsolvable injury.
You could trace that back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And every injury can be treated. Now, it can't necessarily be 100% rehab, but it can be treated. It can be improved. Quality of life can be maximized. The interference from that injury can be minimized. Now, if you do the right things, you can take care of these issues.
Right.
So I just kind of laughed. I had that reaction you just had when he said that to me. And I said, so for 30 years, you've been trying to bench, you get close to 225, you injure yourself, you quit for a few months, you go back, you do it again.
Isn't that the definition of insanity?
I think Einstein defined insanity as that. I've heard that before.
Using the same methods?
Over and over and over. So I said, okay, we're going to do something a little different. And I didn't call it yoga. I called it flexibility training. And through flexibility training, through stabilization, through correction of muscle imbalances, we were able to rehab his injury to the point where he easily bench pressed 225 in a few months. And he can continue to do it today, but then we got him to stop bench pressing because bench pressing wasn't helping his lifestyle. Bench pressing required a gym. It interfered with what he liked to do. So we started going more towards doing workouts at home with no equipment, no weights, finding a way to get your full workout completed just right in front of your bed. As soon as you get up in the morning, you can be naked if you want, right there, do your workout, boom, fitness is done.
Right.
Now,
So you don't necessarily need all the gym and the equipment and all that. You could just use your own body weight, in essence.
Exactly.
And that natural resistance.
Yeah,
Okay.
so one of the things that is important to understand is that gyms, machines, weights, these are all new. These are fitness trends. These came along much, much later in our history.
Right.
Whereas fitness has been around since the beginning.
Right.
Yoga's been around for thousands and thousands of years. It's been twisted, it's been convoluted, it's been packaged, it's been sold, it's been marketed.
Right.
Business is behind a lot of it.
Right.
If you go back to the root of yoga, it's very simple. There was a guy out in the field that said, oh, my back hurts. And another guy went up to him and says, hey, I got a stretch for you that will help your back feel better. And he did the stretch and said, wow, this is pretty good. We should write this down so our children can have this information.
These were like some dudes in India like 3,000 years ago, right?
Yeah, I think it was 5,000 years ago.
5,000 years ago, okay.
And
they were
wrote
already
it down.
starting to figure out
Yes.
the importance of flexibility and balance. And what's so cool is like if you have, you know, these individuals, you know, no matter the age or the background or whatever, there's ways to maximize, for one, their health and fitness. And actually, let's talk about like how you define that. Because there's different perceptions of what health and fitness really is. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Understanding how to be in balance. Balance is the key. You don't want to be too far in any one direction. If you took a tree and planted it in your backyard, and you tied 2 ropes to that tree, if both of the ropes have equal tension, then your tree is going to grow straight. Now, if you put more tension on one rope than the other, the tree is going to go crooked. Imagine that being your spine. Imagine that as your knee. Imagine that as your elbow, as your shoulder. If you have a muscle imbalance, it's the same as having too much tension on one rope or not enough tension on the other, or a combination of several ropes out of balance.
Yes.
So it's important to strengthen and lengthen, appropriately stabilize the joint, and create balance across the joint. Now you can talk about all the different tissues in the knee, all the different tissues in the body. We can talk about muscles, tendons, ligaments. I'm just going to sum them all up as soft tissues. And then you have bones. Now your soft tissues can handle a lot of stress. They can recover. They can heal. They can absorb shock. They can do all kinds of good things, whereas your bones can't.
Right.
Your bones have this nice shiny surface on them. Next time you eat a chicken, look at that little shiny surface on the bone.
Right.
They call that your articular cartilage. And the 2 shiny surfaces of 2 bones should never touch. There should be a little bit of space between them and a little fluid in there.
Right.
Now, if you don't have enough strength in that soft tissue around those bones are going to end up touching. And then you have friction, and then you have wear. The natural...
And pain usually too, right?
Oh, a lot of
goes
pain.
With that.
Yeah, and those kinds of injuries are difficult to correct.
Yeah.
Now, preventing them is not that difficult. Just keep the soft tissue strong and balanced.
Right.
And you can prevent those from happening.
Well, in yoga, you know, and you can relate to this because you're a yoga instructor as well, they talk about the juicy, you know, the juiciness between the bones, the juicy joints, you know, the cushioning, and how you want that, you know, healthy in there, and the joint issue is such a big issue here.
Well, here, picture this.
Aspen.
Picture a nice, smooth piece of cold steel and a nice block of wet ice, and sliding that cold steel across the wet ice. Smooth. The joint in your hip is smoother than that. The coefficient of friction in your hip joint is naturally less than cold steel across wet ice. That's how smooth it is. If you lose that space, if you have those bones start touching and you lose that smoothness in the joint, you're destined for a hip replacement. I went to Dr. Von Staddy's lecture last week. She's one of the orthopedic surgeons at AVH.
Okay.
She was discussing that she does not replace knees in people under 40, usually not under 50.
Okay.
We're indestructible when we're young. We think there's nothing bad is ever going to happen. We think that little twinge in our knee, oh, it's just going to go away. It's all right. I can work through it.
Yeah.
Well, she sits there with an audience of a packed house of everybody in there over 50 contemplating a knee replacement now. She's conducting a new form called a makoplasty. You can look that up separate from this. I don't want you to get to that point. I want to prevent that. I want to give you the exercises that'll stabilize your joints, that'll keep you doing the things you like to do and prevent these injuries. Yoga is an excellent example.
Yes.
Now, whether you like to call it yoga or martial arts or flexibility training, it's built upon the same principle. It's not just a simple static stretch where you bend over and touch your toes. It's where you learn how to stabilize the joint by allowing one muscle to lengthen while contracting another muscle. And by learning how to contract and relax at the same time, you get in touch with your body. Doctors have a fancy word for that called proprioception, knowing where your body is in space, knowing which muscle's contracting and which one's not. You are going to improve that proprioception to the level of, well, depending on how hard you want to work and what your goals are, you can be a Cirque du Soleil performer if you want. They know where their body is in space at all times.
So it really comes down, so health and fitness to a large degree is the balance, the body side to side, forward and back, because you don't necessarily want to be bent forward either with a spine that's coming forward over years of time. So it's really about having all those systems in balance, the muscular, skeletal, the joints, being healthy and juicy, as we could say.
That's it.
And all those different components in balance. So strength, flexibility, those kinds of things. Flexibility also involves range of motion.
Correct.
You could do certain movements. Like say I'm like ragdolling down Highland Bowl, a typical example. If I have flexibility, hopefully I'm pliable and I'll get up and go, wow, I can't believe I'm not injured. But if you're super tight and out of balance, you could do that same ragdoll down the ski run and be snap, crackle, pop, I like to say. Because you are out of balance, maybe too tight. And then orientation just with the spine over the years is an issue as well.
Well, you have a lot of muscles tugging on that spine, and as you just described, an injury up to a muscle is when the muscle is taken beyond its range of motion.
Right.
If you improve the range of motion, you would have to go further to injure it.
Right.
The natural tendency of our body, though, over time, especially if you have a sedentary lifestyle or you spend too much time sitting down, is to shorten the muscles.
Right.
And the muscles get shorter and more injury prone. By maintaining that range of motion, you make the muscle more injury resistant.
Right.
Now, I have a quiz question for you. This is an old one.
You're going to ask me a question?
I am. I'm going to ask you a question. It's a very important question.
Okay.
What is the largest organ in the body?
The skin?
See, that's the old Trivial Pursuit answer, but it's actually incorrect.
Okay.
The largest organ in your body is your muscle. Your skeletal muscle makes up the most of your body. And your skeletal muscle is an organ because it does release what, fancy word, cytokines, cell signaling things, hormones.
Okay.
Your muscles release all these things, and they change your overall profile. If your skeletal muscle is healthy, then you have an anti-inflammatory body. So everybody likes to use the word anti-inflammatory with diets, with antioxidants, and with all of these different buzzwords that are on every package of everything you see in the health food store now. Right. Forget that. You can make your own body anti-inflammatory. If you exercise appropriately, then you can make your body reduce inflammation. If your baseline inflammation is here, and you get stressed out, and you have an unhealthy lifestyle, and you drink too much, and you eat too much, your baseline inflammation goes up to here.
Right.
Now, every time you do an appropriate workout, now everybody's going to want to know what that is, so I'll say really quickly, it's a maximum intensity interval. Not a high intensity, a maximum intensity interval. Whenever you do that maximum intensity interval, your baseline inflammation goes way up here.
Right.
Only for a moment. But after that inflammation goes up, it comes way back down here. And your body learns to regulate inflammation.
Okay.
It learns to get inflamed and come back from it. During that interval, you'll have inflammation. Afterwards, you'll come back out of it.
Well, let's talk about that a little more specifics. We're down to about 3 minutes. But with Dagher Fitness, your business, which you've started now since returning to Aspen.
Correct.
With the medical degree, with all these other great skill sets. Just like a typical situation, like say a client comes to you, say it's a rehabilitation.
Okay.
Like they've had a knee replacement or a hip replacement. Like what would be some things that practical things that you would help them with that process of getting back to a healthy, mountain lifestyle?
Absolutely. So the first thing that you have to do is figure out what's going on. So if you look to where the pain is, you're lost. That's an old doctor's saying.
Right.
You've got to figure out.
Probably coming from somewhere else, right? Yeah.
So you've got to analyze everything. First step is exercise testing. Test you through some basic movements, some kinetic chains, movement patterns that are natural to us, such as a squat or a lunge or a push-up or a pull-up. Basic motions, basic movements, working across these kinetic chains, seeing how they work together, finding out where the imbalance is.
Okay.
You got to correct the imbalance. Along with correcting the imbalance, you have to maximize intensity. No more of these lollygagging around exercises where, you sit down in a machine, you do a few reps, and you go, whew, that was tough.
Wow. Yeah, it was enough to feel it, but then they don't go far enough, typically, right?
You're going to have to maximize the intensity safely.
Yeah.
Because rule number one, nobody gets hurt on my watch.
Safety first.
Exactly. Yeah. So by working up to developing the ability to maximize the intensity in your exercises, you're teaching your body to expand that spectrum. Because we all live on a spectrum that naturally gets smaller and smaller as we get older. When you hit maximum intensity in your exercises, you are going to push your heart to the max. It's called maximum cardiac output, not just maximum heart rate. Those little heart rate monitors you wear on your wrist, that just talks about heart rate.
Right.
Cardiac output is how much blood is coming out along with heart rate.
Okay.
Multiply heart rate times output, that's cardiac output.
Right.
That's
the
going to make
volume
yes.
that it's pumping.
That effect has this whole cascade of events with your vessels, with your muscles, protects your cardiovascular system. It actually cures diabetes in 35% of diabetic patients. It is what we are meant to do. We are meant to go out in the Serengeti and either run after something as fast as we can to get food,
right,
or run away from something as fast as we can to keep from becoming food.
Right.
Do it 3 times a week for 20 minutes. That's all you need to do to change these hormone profiles, to change your metabolism, to revert it back to what it was when you were a teenager, to give your body the ability to handle stressful situations, to reduce your baseline inflammation, to strengthen the muscles and tendons and ligaments that cross every joint in your body, to cover all the bases and bring everything back into balance.
Okay, buddy, so this time goes so fast. I just feel like I'm getting warmed up, kind of in the exercise realm. We just got the warm-up done. Sure. But how can people get a hold of you if they want more assistance, on the ground? Mm-hmm. And really it is about being healthy, fit, and maximizing the mountain lifestyle. What's the best way to get a hold of you? You
can come to my website, dagherfitness.com. That's spelled D-A-G-H-E-R. Or you can even call me directly. My cell phone number is 313-702-7776. That is on the graphic that you'll see in my commercials. That is a direct line right to me. You come right to my website, contact me through there on the contact page. Please explore the website. Do some research on your own. Don't go to the gym and think that it's intuitive. You don't get to go there and think that you know everything about working out.
Right.
That doesn't work that way. I don't know it. Nobody knows it. We have to be taught.
Right.
I had great coaches. I had great mentors. I had great trainers. I had great doctors. I've had great people in my life that have helped me acquire all of this knowledge, and I just want to be able to share it with everybody in this community and recommend that everybody add fitness to their lifestyle. Because just biking every day, just hiking and skiing every day is going to lead to repetitive stress injuries.
Right.
The fitness needs to be a component a few times a week to make your body injury resistant and maintain that high quality of life and enjoy our Aspen lifestyle to the max.
Did you have fun on the show today, buddy?
I had a great time, Eric.
Thank you for joining us. I wish we had more time, but we'll have you back.
Excellent.
How about that?
Excellent. I'd love it.
All right, a little more shake time?
Definitely.
Thanks for the information. Thanks for the inspiration. And thank you guys, above all, for joining us this week on The Local Show.
Picken County Landfill conserves our environment and extends the life of our landfill through innovative, sustainable methods. They offer educational programs on recycling, composting, and more. Picken County Landfill. We handle it. More at landfillrules.com.
Ajax Tavern and Element 47 are located at the Little Nell Hotel at the base of Aspen Mountain. This summer, Element 47's Ride and Dine dinner series returns, where guests are treated to a great bike ride and farm dinner featuring fresh local ingredients. Ajax Tavern is featuring their summer music series with live music in Gondola Plaza Friday, Saturday, and Sundays from 3 to 6, and the Ajax Tavern Barbecue Series. More information at thelittlnell.com. Celebrating their 20th anniversary as Aspen's Adventure Sports School, Sundog Athletics is an opportunity to quickly, safely, and enjoyably gain new skills to experience the thrills of adventure sports, including mountain biking, road biking, fat biking, fitness hiking, canoeing, snowshoeing, and cross-country skiing. Like Sundog Athletics page on Facebook for fresh updates, and reach them at 970-925-1069.
Welcome to the